Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Hi.
Hello, how are you? You're
I'm
in New
good.
York.
I know. I don't know. Look at my surroundings. Can you tell that I'm not
Yes.
on my normal set?
There's no like Hermes pillows behind you.
Oh my gosh. No, I'm in New York. Things are good. I had an audition this morning. It went great. Spirits
Amazing.
are high. I'm staying with my two best friends who are roommates, who are like family to me. So that's a joy. And yeah, just having a great time in New York. How are you?
I'm great.
Feeling great.
I'm exercising my Bethany Frankel muscle. So all I'm going to
Yes.
do is say I look great and I feel great.
Right. So we talked about a lot of this today. So we have a really
Mhm.
fun episode with Leigh Ann Healey. Lee
Ugh.
is what she goes by. What a delight. Just a ball of
Truly.
sunshine. Such good energy. Lee is an influencer. She is a former competitive bodybuilder and
Number one
cheerleader.
champ.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, for real.
She has documented her experience of body acceptance and positivity on her social media. She is so lovely and has such great tips for accepting the skin that you're in, if you will. And
Yes.
it was just a really great conversation about all things like body positivity, diet culture, leaning into extremes, leaning far away from the extremes. It was just a really interesting conversation. I loved hearing her point of view on all of the above.
Yeah, it was incredibly powerful. There were moments where I was definitely like tearing up a little bit. Just the being able to really connect with what she was saying. And even though I'm clearly not a bodybuilder, just the
Right.
feelings of like the pressure that we all put on ourselves to perform and compete and in whatever it is that we're doing. Those are just ubiquitous feelings that I really connected with. And what I loved about this conversation wasn't just, yeah, here are the problems, now here are the platitudes, get yourself out of it. There were real helpful tips to start accepting ourselves the way we are. Forget that that's ever been said 10 billion times before, but truly like that was the message. And I walked away with so many helpful tips.
Tangible
and
advice.
quite a state of the union at the end too.
Yeah, it was great.
And our Ask a GLU was something.
A little spicy. Yeah, it got a little crazy over here.
Yeah.
So hope you enjoy this episode with Lee. And yeah, enjoy this episode with Lee. Thanks for listening.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Let's get into it.
Oh
my God. Oh my God.
Ugh.
Lee, welcome to Oh my God. We're so happy to have you here.
Oh my gosh, and I'm so
Deeply.
happy to be here. Thank you guys so much.
Oh my God, the smile on this girl, for those of you that are not watching.
Oh
It's
my gosh.
ridiculous.
I
Like
can already
such
tell.
a ball of
Yeah,
sunshine. Yeah,
Absolutely.
I'm
Just
excited.
gotta, always have that on the outside, reflecting the inside, so it keeps it.
Is it reflecting the inside? I mean, let's just jump right in.
Yeah.
It really depends on the day. But one thing that I've learned from cheerleading is that if you really do fake it till you make it, and you always have that smile on, that really is how you feel at the end of the day. So
Yeah, I mean, I'm latching
Cheerleading.
right onto cheerleading, which explains a lot of just
that is what most people say about me.
okay, I
Yeah.
did not know this about you. So wait, maybe this is a very good place to start. Just your background. I want to know how you grew up, what the environment was like in those younger formative years, because you've been on quite a journey. And I want to know what kind of the inciting incident to your behavior has been.
Oh my gosh, of course. Well, also for people who don't know me, hi, I'm Lee. My just general overview, who am I? I have always been chasing external validation, and I'm someone who always just wanted other people to see me as popular and cool and pretty and all those things that you really want to be as a young girl. And I went as far as to become a college cheerleader and even a competitive bodybuilder, just so I could wear that cute little uniform and I could be a size 0, and maybe that would mean that people would like me. But it wasn't until I became the size 10 girl that I am today that I really realized that I could be powerful and confident in who I am as I am today. And it isn't that confidence is a size or it's a body type, but it's truly a mindset. So that's what I go out and I try to preach today, and I want other women to know as well, is that you don't need to be small in order to be worth more.
Well, it's funny because the bottom line is we definitely live in a society that values thinness. And so you think like, well, if I'm not thin, I'm not valued. If I'm not valued, I'm not loved. If I'm not loved, I will die alone. Like, like rodents
Right.
gnawing on
Well,
my flesh. And
100%. Yeah.
it's so built into our hard drives. But what sort of got you as a toddler to the place where you were like, I definitely will only get my value from being a size 0? And because you went to a very extreme with bodybuilding.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
So what inspired bodybuilding? I mean, that's like level 10 of cheerleading.
Well,
That's-
yeah, and I also like don't skip over the cheerleading. Okay, first question. Are you from the South? I'm so good.
I
at this.
am. I
Where are
am.
you
I'm
from?
from Georgia.
Okay, great.
You're like, that's all I need to know.
It's great. Well, I'm from Texas. Cheerleading is so integrated in our culture in
Yeah.
Texas for sure. Like it's a huge part of it, and like Southern culture in general.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, body image stuff is also very much built into Southern culture. I don't know if you know about this, Lisi. Southern grandmas are like the scariest body image police like that you've ever met in your life. I gained 5 pounds and my grandma's like, I've noticed. Like they're, oh yeah, no, can you speak to this as well? Like it's very integrated into our culture as like Southern women.
Yeah.
But also the cheerleading of it all. Just start from the beginning. I want to hear about the cheerleading into the bodybuilding and just like more about your background for sure.
Oh, 100%. I will say I'm kind of a particular and interesting case because while I grew up in the South and I do identify with being a Southern girly, I love myself a monogram. My parents are actually from New Jersey. So I feel like I relate to a lot of different parts of the US in that way. And also I went to college in the Midwest. So I feel like I just see a lot of different areas. With that being said, I live in LA now. So I really just am everywhere. But I feel like I really integrated myself in that Southern culture and really bought into the importance of being a cheerleader and to getting into a really good sorority and really buying into the hierarchies of everything as a kid. And my first memory of diet culture, also this is super Southern, I was in Sunday school.
Yeah.
And we had to figure out what we wanted to give up for Lent. And I decided in my class, in my literal single digit age brain, that I was going to give up all food except apples for 40 days.
Oh God.
It's hilarious thinking about it now because also did that happen? No. Of
Yeah, I
course.
was going to say, were your
like-
parents like, no?
Goats? Your parents were goats.
I think honestly it was fueled because apples were considered the healthy food in my household. If, you wanted a snack, why don't you have an apple? Oh, you like don't want to eat your meal today, you should have an apple. After you finish practice, you should have an apple. So I really felt like that was the best food I could have, and any other food that I ate was bad. I know that there was so much more leading up to that, and it is like so much of a just larger amalgamation of things that brought me there. But that was the one memory and the earliest memory I have of like, wow, I was willing to just like go to the absolute extremes, even from such a young age, just to like be the most ideal version of myself. And that meant to already thinking about losing weight. I was already thinking about how can I not be the size medium that I was at the time, already feeling so bad about myself.
Who made you feel like that medium was bad? Was it your friends? Was it culture? Was it your family? Like, where did, as a child, you get the idea that your size was not the right size?
So more lore about me. I also was a figure skater as a child. So
Oh my God.
it's another sport where you really are focused on how you look. And when I was on the ice, I got comments from coaches and even from other skating moms that were along the lines of lose weight for different reasons.
Ugh.
So coaches, would tell you like, oh, you'll perform better, you'll jump higher, you'll spin faster, you'll do all those things better if you could just lose weight. How it all kind of translated was a little bit more fear-based than empowering, and that, oh, you'll be a better athlete and how can we enhance your athletic skills? It was more like, you better do this for XYZ. I remember too, after a birthday party where I invited all the skating girls, I was showing photos to some of the groups of girls after, and I was like, oh my gosh, look at this. And one of the moms like pointed at my legs while I was unwrapping a gift of the photos and was like, oh, thunder thighs.
Oh my God.
And I was like,
I
oh, okay.
fucking hate people. Like, are you
Oh
kidding
my
me?
God.
It's
Can
wild.
you
And
imagine?
the audacity,
No, I
Saying
I
that to a
can't even
kid.
wrap my brain around that. Like,
No.
no.
Yeah.
But it is so crazy because you both, I mean, Ellen and Leigh, you both work in professions, or did, Leigh, where like your appearance did matter. Your weight probably did affect how you were as an athlete, right? Like that is it's a body sport in a lot of ways, and your body matters. That's one of your most important tools. Ellen, as an actress, how you look is so much a part of it, that it is so hard to separate when it's helpful for the job and when you reach that tipping point where it now becomes destructive.
Well, that's why I feel so strongly about how you feel versus how you look. Because to your point, yes, your body is so important in order to do things. When I was on the ice, it was how high can I jump? When I was in cheer, it's like, am I able to properly back this stunt? Am I able to get the job and be the person for that job? Where it really becomes negative, and what we end up, I feel like, resorting to at the end of the day is, well, how do I look when I do it? Do I look like a toothpick when I'm in the air spinning? How do my arms look when I'm pushing up that stunt? We take it to that when it's really about the capabilities of who we are as an athlete.
For sure. Right. And I assume we're around the same age. It was so enmeshed in the culture of that time when we were growing up too. Like, I even remember... and when I was getting ready to record this, I was like, oh my God, that was such a weird time. Diet culture, quote, diet culture was such a big thing. And it was a huge thing in my house. My mom was trying a new diet like every 3 weeks. She's doing Atkins. She's doing the Master Cleanse. She's doing like all these things. And it was just a revolving door of fads with the idea of like the result being thinner, essentially.
Oh my
it was
gosh.
Like, yeah, but it was
Weight Watchers
huge.
is still a thing in my household.
Weight Watchers, like all of the Weight Watchers. I mean, there was a lot of that going on when we were young, and I didn't really realize until I was an adult and I started dealing with my own stuff. I'm just like, oh, no wonder I felt the need to go to such extremes at certain points in my life, because that was all I saw. Like, that was all I knew growing up, was like an extreme diet. Like, all of a sudden my mom's not eating eggs. It's like, what's going on? Like, you know, it's something so ridiculous and such a fad and crazy. And, you know, at her age, and like at this point in my mom's life, she's come to a full circle moment of just like, fuck that. Like, and those extremes and living a very balanced, healthy lifestyle. And it's so much better. But it was very, very prominent in our culture, I think, like when we were in those formative years. It was huge.
Honestly, kudos to your mom, though, for being able to see that now, because I will say that I don't think that honestly is common as we would like it to be. And I think even in this day and age where we see a lot more conversation around body positivity, we see a lot more conversation around body acceptance and, you know, being okay with how we look at the end of the day. But I don't think that necessarily is like how we practice it, even though we're having those conversations.
Well, I'll tell you, the older generation does. And I'll tell you why. Like, you know, I'm closer to your mom's age, Ellen, than I am to yours, obviously. And all the women my age are getting to that point because you realize, oh, we're on a sliding scale. Like, there's only so much we can do now. We're never going to look the way we did in our 40s, 30s, 20s, whatever. Like, it's not happening. Nature will not allow it. Like, unless there's surgical interventions, you cannot achieve it. Like, the body doesn't
still
produce.
So huge right now, though, I will say. Like, it's trendy and like huge for people.
It is, but you get to a point where you're like, I keep spinning my wheels and obsessing over this thing, and like, it's not working. I'm just gonna let it go. Like, there's a certain amount of surrender to it, because you're like, I'm not achieving the goals I want to achieve because science will not allow it. Like, we are not born to keep looking fertile when we're in our 50s. Like, that would be confusing for men.
Totally.
But I want to get back to you, Leigh, about just, okay, so how did you go from figure skater with body awareness, hyper body awareness, to then the bodybuilding? Like, oh my God.
I feel like for me, it kind of was just a slow snowball that quickly turned into like the fastest downhill slope ever.
Ooh.
But
I want to hear about that. What happened?
No, but like how I got into it was at the time when I discovered bodybuilding, really. I was a sophomore in college, just about to enter my sophomore year. And I was actually in preseason training for that year of cheer. You get to school like a few weeks early because also I went to college, Northwestern University, go Cats.
Nice.
We start school a little bit later. So we had to get there a little bit early, not only start training, but then also football season starts way before you get to school. So it was literally on campus, it's just you and the football players and a few other athletes. So like literally no one is there. You have nothing to do except cheer, and then maybe like a few weeks in, then there's a game. So you got a lot of time. What a lot of girls end up doing is going to practice and then going to the gym after. And like we live in the gym constantly for those like 3 or so weeks. So I'm also at this time so unbelievably struggling with my body image, my weight, like how I'm seeing myself, because I had gained weight after my freshman year, like literally every girl.
Like everyone. Yeah.
Like, so normal. But I also had a situation where my coach had also called that out and had publicly told the team that I needed to lose the freshman 15. And so I was already struggling with myself internally, had gotten those comments from my coach as well. And so I'm truly at that point, like, what I need to do anything to lose weight, anything I could do, like, please fall from the sky and help me. And so this was at that point that I had, social media was big. I love social media, already was on social media, and I'm scrolling on Instagram and see a girl that I went to high school with, and she pops up on my feed and she's in this sparkly bikini. She looks so glam. She has her makeup done. Her hair is like big and flowing, and she is so skinny. She is so skinny. I could see her abs. And I was like, oh my God, how do I do that? And I'm like, that's great. That's perfect, actually. That's exactly what I want to be. How do I do that? And so I go on her page. I start like looking back, everything she's done. I'm looking at other people she's following. And then through all of that research, I realized what she was doing was this thing called competitive bodybuilding. And that's the day that I decided that I was going to be a competitive bodybuilder.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one thing about me is once I have a goal, like I'm doing it. Like I am tenacious, baby. I'm going to make it happen. So once I made that decision, it was locked. And I started, finding my own coach. I started figuring out, okay, like what does my gym schedule look like in between classes? How am I going to make all of my broccoli and chicken, even though I live in my sorority house and don't have access to a kitchen? Like what am I going to do? And that's when I really started like trying to figure that out. But also in between all of that, I will say something I wasn't really talking about at the time, but as time has gone on, and obviously now I talk a lot more about, was I was unbelievably like seriously struggling with an eating disorder that I didn't realize at the time was an eating disorder, but binge eating.
Binge eating.
Yeah. And because I feel like when you talk about eating disorders, everyone automatically assumes anorexia.
For sure.
Yeah.
But for someone who I was gaining weight and coping with that, I would eat more food and then constantly, and it would turn into not just overeating, but truly binge eating. You lose yourself in the food. You can't think about anything else other than eating or when you're going to eat next, and then you just lose yourself in it. And I thought that bodybuilding would help that because it would help me have that more structure, help me not have to think about eating all the time, because I couldn't eat all the time, and having that limitations I thought would really be able to give me that fixing that I felt I needed.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same. It's a coping mechanism like drugs, alcohol. It's the dopamine. It's the numbing out. It's just a different tool in the bag of numbing out tools, right?
It's often, I don't know if you've encountered people that have struggled with addiction, but I've encountered a few people that have gone through the whole rehab process to come out on the other side, and then they're addicted to exercising. It's like something has to take the slot of like, I don't do coke anymore, so I'm gonna live in the gym. Like,
I do yoga.
It's crazy.
7 times a day.
Yeah,
totally.
Sure.
Like,
it's that like addictive personality thing. I feel like I hear that like phrase a lot. Honestly, too, it's kind of like the way your brain is wired too. I feel like often you find people who are very, like I said, like I'm someone who goes all in. Like I will go full force. And I think that's something that now in my life I'm trying to figure out of, okay, no, I don't necessarily need to be like so laser focused on everything I do. And so kind of trying to unlearn that style of acting. Because like you said, Ellen, I don't want to be someone who just takes one thing and then pivots it right to another, and then it becomes unhealthy again.
Well, it's funny because I was observing with you. I'm like, well, you are a person that functions in extremes, and I can know that because I am 100% the same way. I'm either all in or I'm all out. I don't know how to live in the middle. I feel like you live in like one extreme, like I am going to be cut and ripped and controlled and disciplined. Yeah. And now you're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
Let's ride. And
Yeah.
and I'm wondering if you do struggle, like now that you're on the complete opposite side of that, are you trying to find the middle, or are you happy with this, like just much more relaxed approach?
I feel like that's honestly kind of a misconception about where I'm at now, honestly. I feel like I get a lot of comments even too of people telling me, like, why don't you find a middle ground? Like, why are you at where you're at now? You should actually be in the middle of that. But I believe I am in the middle right now. I work out. I, go to the gym at least 3 times a week when I'm
Yeah.
up for it.
Amazing.
But I'm currently training for a half marathon. Yes, I do eat like all the cake and cookie and ice cream I want. I'm a big Cheesecake Factory girl. Like anytime I can get another cake, I will. But I'm still eating, my salads. I still try to keep a balanced meal and try to get a vegetable at least with every meal. I am a size 10, but I don't understand. Honestly, like that is below the average size of a US woman. I'm below average, but I feel like based on a lot of the discourse, and at least that I see on my pages, people often think that I am like all the way on the other side of the spectrum and I've like lost myself and there's no coming back. But I'm like, what the heck does that mean,
It's funny because the minute you logged on to this recording, both Ellen and I at the exact same time were like, you're so beautiful. Like you just
so
led
pretty.
with this. But not even like forget the features and like the symmetry and the hair and all that.
Energy.
It was internal. It was a
Yeah.
gigantic smile and openness of spirit that we read. So it had nothing to do with how you actually, like the God-given features that you have. It was completely an energy. And so I do believe there is so much truth. You exuded joy and confidence, and you are walking the walk for sure. Because we felt it right away. And I'm wondering if when you were in the thick of your bodybuilding, quote unquote, perfect weight, size 0, chicken and broccoli, all of it, were you able... You had the quote unquote goal, you reached it, you had the ideal, you were winning all the awards, but then you talk about how you were crying in the parking lot of a Radisson hotel. And it is so important to note that you had all the things that you wanted on paper, but you were not exuding what you are exuding now as a size 10. And I just wonder if you could speak to that.
Yeah. No, first of all, I have to say thank you so much. Like, oh my gosh, like I have chills. Like that's so kind of y'all to say. But that is how I feel too. Like confidence means so much more than anything that you could look like or be like. It's truly just how you feel. It's a mindset. And it's just that total shift when you roll your shoulders back and you realize like, oh, I can just give off this energy. Kind of like even we were talking about in the beginning of this call, like as long as I have a smile on my face, like as long as I feel like, I can fake it till I make it, like I'll be that girl that I want to be, confident, powerful. That's who I am at the end of the day, and I want to be constantly reinforcing that with myself. And anyone is able to do that. Don't need to look a certain way.
No, it's so true. And Lisi and I have talked about this too. It's probably not the correct term for what we're talking about, but we have discussed, we're like, if we just had the delusion of Bethany Frankel, where could we be? Like, just to have, and I have friends too that are actors that work constantly that like, I've seen it. They walk into the room and they're just like, I'm a star. You're all welcome. And everyone's just like foaming at the mouth and loves it. And I'm just like, we eat it up.
Yeah,
like,
you're like, wait, hang on.
Maybe I shouldn't like roast myself constantly.
Yeah.
When you talk negatively yourself, that really makes you think like crap about yourself. I'm not gonna lie, I actually have been really getting out to my dad about this lately because I think it permeates not only how you look about yourself, but just how you go about your day to day. I talk to my dad like every day. My dad and I are like besties, like we're so tight. And he's been on his golf game recently and trying to get better. And I'm so proud of him. And he called me the other day and he was like, yeah, I've been at the range. And when I'm at the range, I am amazing. But when I get out on the course, like I'm so bad and I'm really bad at the course, but I'm so good at the range. And I'll never be good at the course because I'm so good at the range. And he just constantly is. And I'm like, Dad, I have to stop you. If you keep telling yourself you're only good at the range and you're very bad at the course, you will only be good at the range and bad at the course. That's just what's going to happen. You have to take these feelings that you're having and, stop and realize, okay, I'm having this thought. It's a thought, not actually a fact. But what is a fact about it? okay, I'm realizing that I'm talking negatively to myself every time I get on the course. I know that I do have the skills in order to get on the course and make it happen, but something's not translating right now. What could I do differently? Like, there are different things that you could take those feelings and say, hey, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's what's true, you know?
But I have to go back. I truly want to know why the crying after winning the awards and reaching the goal that you wanted to reach so badly with your body that you sacrificed so much for, you got it and you cried. And I'm so excited for whatever it is you say, because I think we all do it. We all think, well, when I just get this, when I get the money, when I get the guy, when I get the body, when I get the job, everything's going to be perfect. And we're always told by people who are older and wiser, like, honey, that's not true. And we all are like, shut up, you're old and dumb and you don't know. And I know. And then we all learn it ourselves the hard way. And I'm just desperate to know why for you that moment brought you to tears, and why now you're just so sunny. Like, what happened?
The tack on question that I have to that is, like, living under such extremes and like competitive extremes too. Like, there's also the competition element of all of this, which makes it even more heightened because you're like quite literally competing based off of your appearance. And so how do you go from that, having this breakthrough moment, into where you've arrived today in terms of the way that you talk to yourself and the way that you think about exercise, diet, body, culture in general? How did the whole journey even just unfold?
No, of course, both of those are like kind of like the crux of what I try to share now. And it's hard to even boil it down. I mean, it took me years to get to where I am now, and it took me years to feel the way I feel and be able to talk about everything the way I talk about. And honestly, Lisi, for the longest time, I didn't want to talk about the way I felt. I didn't want to talk about or even admit to myself about how I truly felt like a failure at those times, because it felt embarrassing, especially in the industry of bodybuilding, because I'm assuming most people, and probably yourselves, are not as familiar with bodybuilding and the ins and outs. Am I right? And
look at this arm. So, does this look like a bodybuilding arm? It's like a chicken wing.
To give you a little bit of background in bodybuilding and what the culture looks like, is we've all heard the like, oh, like it's all about the gains, or you know, when you're stereotyping those meatheads, you hear the phrases like it's all about the grind,
right? And the supplement culture too, like taking all the supplements, like, absolutely.
It feels like a character. It feels like, oh, there's no way, but no, that genuinely is what it is. And even with myself, I was in the bikini division, which is like, quote unquote, the smallest and like the girliest of all the divisions, for the simplest way of putting it. But even in that division, it is not exempt from that larger bodybuilding world. And it is all riding on this culture of fear and this idea that if you don't do well, it's actually your fault because you didn't hire a good coach, you couldn't stick to your diet, you didn't do it right. If you cheat on your diet, that's your fault for not having the willpower. If you aren't grateful for what you're doing, it was your choice to do this. Why don't you feel grateful that you get to wake up and go to the gym twice a day and eat enough calories to sustain a 2-year-old? Like, that is on you for not being happy about that. And I really bought into that as someone who is a perfectionist. I found a lot of value in myself of being able to follow the rules as best as possible. And if I was just able to follow my coach the best, eat the best foods, go to the gym and work out my best, then that's how I would win. And I would be the best and I would look the best and I would be rewarded for that. Most people, when they do competition preps, which are the period leading up to your competition where you're really dialed in and doing that stereotypical bodybuilding, dieting, rigid training, etc., and cutting, as people call it, and eating less, is typically 2 to 3 months, 3 months max, really. But I did 6 months, since this was my first time ever doing anything, really getting into it and starting kind of like from 0 and going to 100. So it was a very long time to be in this restrictive.
Yeah.
Were parents and friends like going, what are you doing? Or were they cheering you on, or were they concerned?
Honestly, it was a mix of both. I think it's kind of the idea of that, well, losing weight is good, right? But also, it doesn't seem like the safest, healthiest way. But also, I've always been told that losing weight is good. So I would get a lot of support from my parents, from family, friends. But at the same time, it would always be kind of like a side conversation of, hey, like, just wanted to check in. And no, was I okay? No, absolutely not. Like, I was not well. You're very unhealthy.
Right.
Like, you're literally starving yourself. I'm not even saying that figuratively. You are genuinely starving yourself.
Right.
And I had to convince myself that it was all okay. And not only it was okay, but actually it's condoned. And this is part of the industry. So it's totally normal, right? And so I convinced myself that I was doing something totally fine.
Yeah. And also, it's like, if you're a person that lives in such extremes, and if you were dealing with binge at that time and binge eating, and then it's like, okay, this is a whole other opposite extreme that's also a distraction from, I hate this term because it's so overused, but it's a distraction from the food noise. And so then you're like, you can channel that energy there. And would you rather like, I can see the rationalization and like the mental gymnastics that you were probably doing of like, well, it's better to channel my energy here than it is in like binge eating.
Also, this is accepted. This is like, I have a coach. Everyone's on board. It's public. Everyone's applauding me. Whereas, you know, an eating disorder is very secretive and isolating. This, you can sort of have your disorder and
you can make it
applauded
public,
for
and it's normalized. And that's what I feel so strongly about, too. I used sport in quotes earlier, talking about bodybuilding. It's because I firmly believe that bodybuilding is not a sport. I think it's a pageant. It is, you know, not something about doing that athletic behavior like we were talking about earlier with figure skating, with cheerleading. Like, you're trying to accomplish an athletic task. Whereas in bodybuilding, it's not like powerlifting where you're trying to lift a certain amount of weight in order to be the highest, strongest person in your class. You're trying to just look the best. Your muscles need to look the fullest. And even when they judge you on stage, there are line items of, well, how does your hair look? How does your bikini look? Is your tan even? So there's things that have nothing to do with your musculature when you get on stage. It's genuinely, truly is all about how you look.
So when you win, were you just exhausted? Like, after the win and the breakdown, were you just like breaking down from exhaustion or the realization that this is not making me happy?
It was a few things at the time. So I did my first ever show and I won the whole thing. I not only came home with first place from my category. Anytime you compete, you're broken down by height class. And so if you win your height class, you then get to go for the overall title, which is then against every other person in all the different height classes. So then I went to the overall and won the overall. So I won all of like the bikini for that show. And I therefore on that show not only won, but then also qualified for nationals, which meant then I could compete against like everyone in the US. I had like the highest honor, it felt like, in my first ever show to be able to do that. And you should be so happy. You should, you know, say, oh, wow, like my work paid off. Not only did I win, but Leigh, like you looked the best. You, hands down, clearly, you won. I had my big old metal axe that I won, and I could say I did it. Then though, I got in the car and drove back to the hotel where I was staying for the show, and I just sat in my car and looked at the photos from the day and went to go post on Instagram, of course, because I needed to be able to tell everyone that I just won. And I'm sitting there alone in my car watching like the likes and the comments roll in of everyone telling me how proud they are of me and how amazing I am. And I'm just sitting there in the dark alone. And I'm like, this doesn't matter. I don't have anyone to celebrate with. I thought that people would love me, but I don't feel loved. Like, I'm seeing it. I'm seeing what I wanted. I'm getting the likes. I'm getting that validation. I'm getting the praise, and I have the accolades. I don't feel any different. If anything, I feel worse. It wouldn't click for me that I needed to stop doing this until years later. I continued to compete. I did eventually go to national. I kept it up because I thought that it should work, right? Like, actually, it's wrong with me, right? Like, something's wrong with me. I'm not the one that's getting it. So I need to keep keep doing this and like figure out what's wrong with me. But it wasn't until I truly like couldn't do it anymore, like my body was literally failing me, that I realized like, okay, I need to stop. And in me stopping, realizing, whoa, like, hang on, what's on the other side here? There might be a lot that more that I need to unpack. But yeah, it's a very lonely activity.
Yeah. But then also you're shedding an identity. That was your whole identity. So when you're picking up the pieces and trying to pivot, there's got to be this moment of, who am I now if I'm not this hyper disciplined competitor?
My mentality was losing weight. It was being that grind time girl, like being obsessed with what time I was eating my next meal at, or when I was fitting in my gym schedule. Yeah.
How exhausting. Like mentally, how exhausting all of that must be. Yeah.
And knowing that's your value. You said something in one of your videos that I absolutely loved. And I think it is some of the best advice on just how to be confident, because you hear all the time, like, just love yourself, love your body. Like, great. Sure. How? You know, that's always been my thing, like, how? And you said something, which is, what is something you want people to say about you when you're not around? And if you really think about that, do you want, when you leave the room, people to go, oh my God, she had the best body? Sure, fine, great. But like, do you want to be remembered for that? Or do you want to work on some of the other more important things that really would matter if you were remembered for those things, like character things that really matter? I've been using that just every time I get in my own head about my own appearance. Is this the most important foot forward you want to put? When I leave the room, do I need everybody to talk about how hot they think I am, or how smart or funny or interesting or curious, like all these other things that I value way more? So I just thought that was really great. And I'm wondering if that at the time is something you asked yourself when you were making this identity shift.
Yeah. So I have to say thank you. I feel so honored. I know too that everything you're saying is like, thank you so much for watching my videos.
Of course, I love your videos.
Well, your content's great. Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And we all need it. I need it too. Like, there's so many times when I would turn to you just to go, like, I feel like shit about myself. I need to surround myself with positive messages, because the truth is, we as humans in the United States of America are constantly bombarded with look better, feel better, do better. You're not enough. You're not enough. You're not enough. And in order to overcome those messages, we have to counter it with more positivity than that. And so when I'm getting in that head, I'm like, now I need to consume positive to drown out the negative. And you are one of the first places I go for that, because you truly are positive and you've walked the walk and you've made the pivot and you've done all the things and gotten all the accolades that one would think would make them happy, and it didn't. And you are the embodiment, pun intended, of all the things that I want to be, that we all need to be. So I really value your content.
Thank you so much. Truly, it is an honor. I'm going to have to cobble the words together in order to, pick myself up after like feeling like, thank you so much.
Yeah. But it's really interesting. Like, I feel like what you do is also a reflection of the culture, because like it has shifted. It was so much worse when we were kids. And I touched on this earlier, but like diet culture, body positivity was not a thing in the early 2000s. And like, even in the click books, like Dylan with her body image issues, like it had to be a part of that book because it was that prevalent at that time. And it has shifted. Like, we didn't have even, this is the lowest hanging fruit, but we didn't even have celebrities like Kim Kardashian. Everyone famous in my mind, like in the early 2000s, looked like Terry Hatcher and Sarah Jessica Parker, who are like the top. No, seriously.
I know, that's just a great example.
It's so Y2K. Like,
when you look at the magazine covers of them being like beached whale pulling up, in their bikini, and it's like, oh my God, like it's truly
she's a
like
size 4. Instead
ridiculous.
of a size 00. No, it's ridiculous. And we have a long way to go for sure. But I love that in the social media space, especially where there's so much noise and like just negativity, there are creators like yourself, and there are people that are putting out positivity and balance and a healthy mindset. And so like, how did you kind of shift, and I guess like with the times, into like having that mindset and also like developing that kind of brand and like content for yourself? How did we arrive there?
Oh, I feel like it's been like kind of like a winding road in order to get there. Because how I started originally was kind of just exposing bodybuilding, I guess. I was out with a friend to dinner and we were just catching up, and he just kind of casually mentioned to me, he was like, Leigh, like your story is so unique. I've never heard anything like it. And I think that a lot of people would resonate with you. Like you should share this online. And I was super hesitant about it and was very much like, no, like that. I don't think that actually is, that different or cool or special, and I don't think people care. And he was like, you really should just try it. And so we kind of, by the end of this dinner, came up with like a bet of, okay, I'm going to post like at least one time each day for a month. And by the end, like if it doesn't happen, like I'm done with it. But if it does, like, I don't know. I don't even think it will. So, but then my second video ended up going viral. My third video went viral. Fourth, like they just, then all of a sudden like kept hitting and clearly was striking a nerve. And I honestly was getting a lot of bodybuilders mad, like very mad. But I also was getting a lot of bodybuilders who were like, wait, like you feel that way too? I felt like I couldn't talk about this. I felt like it was embarrassing that it didn't, or, oh my gosh, I felt stuck and now I realize why. And people being able to really tell me that like they understand and like they feel the same way I feel. And so it felt honestly just so validating in that way of, whoa, I was never.
It must have been therapeutic for you too.
That's exactly how it felt. Yeah. And then though, I started getting comments from people not bodybuilders or people who just were going through weight gain, or people just seeing someone who was kind of fighting back on that diet culture and about weight loss mentality. And I realized, whoa, like actually a lot of people feel this way just generally. Like you don't need to be a bodybuilder in order to relate to this. And while I have this extremely niche and unique experience that not a lot of people can relate to, I do have that experience of having to go through weight gain, which is seen as the worst thing that you could do. It feels like as a woman, like, oh my gosh, like I can't believe you would gain weight. And so many people can relate to feeling like, why does it have to be the worst thing that happens to me? It doesn't.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so being able to post about that and share that experience, I think another thing particularly too, Lisi, that you said was feeling like a lot of the content is put out there about body positivity or self-love is very much just like, love yourself. And
platitudes.
It feels like Pinterest quotes. Yeah, it just feels like, okay, like if I just stare at this in the mirror every day, like I'll eventually feel
like
that.
Put it on a wooden plaque and suddenly I'll be that, like, no.
Yeah, it's
like every time,
beautiful.
Yeah, it's too surface.
Yes,
it's
exactly.
not getting to the root of the issue. It's like, what is the issue? Like,
yes,
and it's again like yourself. It has taken me years to figure out. Years. And I'm still figuring it out. It's constantly changing. As I've gotten older, like there's some things physically that I'm like, God, that is way harder than it was when I was 21. Like this, I mean, it's ever shifting. And so I think like part of accepting that in of itself is just like, okay, like I'm not going to look like how I did when I was in high school, probably ever again, unless I go to like the most extremes ever. So like, what's the healthiest way that I can be where I'm at right now? What's the best way for me to be right now, who I at 30, almost 2? What's the best way to go about like living a balanced, healthy lifestyle and like not leaning into extremes? But it's hard.
Yeah. Well, even as you mentioned too, it's just focusing on how you feel, because as we know, we're never going to like look the way that we looked in high school, but also our bodies didn't function the way they function now, like they did in high school.
Right.
Have so many more capabilities now. We've gone through so many more things. We've seen so many more things. Maybe we can't do the things that we did then, but we can do things now that we couldn't do then. Like there's a trade-offs there. And it's so much more about how you feel. And it took me way too long to realize that of, hey, I know that I look different. I know that maybe my capabilities have changed, but do I feel good in my body? When I go for my runs, and I'm training for my second half marathon now. The first one I did was back then when I was trying to do it to be skinny, when I wanted to be small, when I was only training to get to that smaller body. Am I running slower now? Yes. Much slower now. Do I need to take breaks now? Whereas before I wouldn't afford those to myself? Yes. But I feel so much better about myself, and I'm still able to get that same medal at the end of the race that I was back then, and I'll feel so much better about myself at the end.
So when you say feel, I mean, I have to ask, and for those like me who are wondering, like, there is an argument to be made of, well, with my gut currently pushing against the inside of my jeans, like, I don't feel good. That doesn't feel good. And when I take off my pants, there's an imprint of a button right below my belly button. Like, that doesn't feel good. So how do you feel good when you don't feel good from weight gain?
Yeah. And you know what? I totally hear that. And I feel like another thing that people often tell me was, oh, so you just want people to gain weight. No one's ever allowed to lose weight, and like diets are never allowed. And I'm like, that's not what I'm saying. I understand that sometimes that based on how you feel, to your point, that's part of it. But there's also so many things that you can do in order to make yourself feel better that aren't just based on, I need to lose weight. For example, like you just said, Lisi, like maybe they sit and they're, oh my God, my jeans like imprint into my tummy every time and it's so uncomfortable. Okay, let's go to the store and let's buy you a bigger pair of pants.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what you need right now. I'm not saying that forever that you're going to have that bigger size, but there's no point in squeezing your body into a size that doesn't fit you when you're not that size right now.
I love that. Amen.
Yeah.
That's it. It's so simple. It's so fucking simple. Why do we freak out? Like, I have a very good friend whose name I won't mention, but she hasn't shopped in 4 years because she's waiting till she gets to her target weight. And I'm like, enough with the free people clothes with holes in it. Like, you are gorgeous.
It's such a hurdle for
go
people
shopping. Yeah,
I know, but it really is like the new term, honestly, shouldn't even be food noise. Like, it should be size noise. Like, the size noise is out of control. The way that ran my life, like when I eventually in my, adult, very average body had to transition to a medium from a small. Horrifying. Like, why? It's so stupid. Like, why would I not be a size medium? I'm like, also, there's nothing wrong with that. Why am I squeezing myself into clothes that don't fit?
I was just in Mexico and the mannequins there have enormous butts and they're so shapely. And I was so aware of the fact that our culture is not every culture. Like, there are most cultures in the world that don't obsess over people looking like swizzle sticks. Like, they want a woman with fucking curves and shape and sexiness. Good job, Mexico. Good job, Mexico.
No, but what you were saying earlier, I think that what people forget is that no one can see the tag on your pants except you.
Right. Wear
no
it
one.
well.
And like, no one can see that. And I will say, Claire was ahead of her time when she
switching the tags
to switch tags because they genuinely mean nothing. It means nothing.
I know. It's so silly. So I guess this is a good way to transition into Mean Girl Amends, because we have a segment on our show called Mean Girl Amends where we kind of absolve ourselves for like mean girl behavior from back in the day, which I don't know if you know, Lisi Harrison, author of the Click Books, did put red paint on Simone Seltzer's chair in like second grade. And she did that. Okay. So that was
a real life.
That's a real story.
Let's just I'll take a knee while you judge me for 45 seconds. Like, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
I made an amends. Just giving you an example. Yes, I'm just giving you an example of the amends. I'm giving you an example of the amends, and I'm also letting you know that story did happen in real life, which I didn't know until recently, and I was freaking out. So just thought it could be fun to share. But I think this week should be like Mean Girl Amends. How do we be nicer? Let's not be mean girls to ourselves. What are tools that you've found that make it easier to be kinder to yourself and like easier on yourself? Because we're so critical of ourselves. We're our own worst enemy at times. It's like the inner saboteur just comes in so hard. What have you found helps you get out of that spiral?
I think that we are the meanest person to ourselves. I don't think there is anyone meaner to us than our own inner voice. You might hear some really negative things from the outside world. People will say nasty comments. You'll get that. But then you'll repeat that to yourself. You'll say, well, they said this, so is it true? And then you might convince yourself that it is, or even if you try to push, it's very easy to feed into that. And so how do you not buy into that? I feel like by me having the platform that I do and sharing the message I do, I think a lot of people think that I don't have bad days, or I don't ever buy into that, or I might not ever say mean things to myself. And that's very much not true. I still have my fair share of insecurities. I have my fair share of bad body image days, but it's in those moments realizing every day doesn't have to be perfect. I don't have to always feel the same way about myself. And the body that I woke up with today is the body that I woke up with yesterday, that I felt like, oh, she's so sexy, like she looks good. I'll just feel like so good about myself. And then I wake up the next day, I'm not literally the same person. Like, it's not like I could just all of a sudden gain 100 pounds overnight. Like that doesn't happen. And so just realizing that you kind of have to retrain your brain.
Well, it's a practice. I think confidence, like everything else, is a practice, meaning we have to practice it all the time. All the time.
Yeah. It feels difficult when I'm like, oh, you just have to say this to yourself. Because like we said earlier, it's not platitudes. It's not, okay, I'll just convince myself one day if I say this over and over again, it's not true. No, you truly have to practice that mindset, practice that thinking. And when you look in the mirror and you're saying, oh my God, like I truly hate myself today, you have to say, okay, well, let's think about what actually is the fact. I didn't hate myself yesterday or whenever the last time I felt really good about myself. I'm up and I'm able to even like look at myself today. I'm here. I'm able to live my life and do what I'm able to do. I will say too, there is this amazing exercise called mirror exposure therapy. And what you can do is look at yourself for a timed amount of time. So, you know, if you're first starting, put even a minute, but I would say at least try it for 5 minutes on your timer. And then wear like maybe like a sports bra, little shorty shorts, or if you can, totally naked, you know, get in the mirror while the timer's running. You just look at yourself and don't look away. And you could do this 2 different ways. You can either say, wow, okay, try to do that reframing of, wow, like I love how my body looks, and try to just do all those positive affirmations. And maybe like you don't feel the most positive version of yourself, but try to, you know, fake till you make it. Or you can do the body neutrality approach of looking at yourself and saying, these are my arms, this is my stomach, these are my legs, and just allowing yourself to truly see that. Maybe the things that you're avoiding, you avoid in the mirror and you try to look away from or hide. You can't do that when you're doing this exercise. You have to look at it and letting those thoughts and those feelings wash over you. And if you have a negative thought, going back to either the positive or the neutral approach, and essentially stop being afraid of the things that you're afraid of. Because at the end of the day, we're just scared to acknowledge like that big scary monster of, well, what if I don't like my stomach, or what if I do gain the weight? And it's always like that fear. We're so scared of it. And if you just acknowledge it and you just see it and you kind of let it be, you realize, oh, it's not that scary after all.
And it's not all that bad. If I could share something that like completely reframed my entire mindset when it came to exercising, I'm sure you're familiar with Amanda Klutz, and she's like a fitness girly. And her husband very sadly passed away from COVID in 2020, like at 41 years old. It was terrible and tragic. She is a big fitness person, advocate, personal trainer, everything. And she says, do you know how lucky you are to be able to move your body? There are so many people who are sick or injured or in pain, and they would want nothing more in this world than to be able-bodied. It's so simple, but to have the gratitude for just where you are in your body. I'm a healthy 31-year-old person. That's good enough. Like I can run on a treadmill. I can lift weights. Like I can do Pilates. Like how lucky am I that I can do Pilates? I don't have to. It's not a chore. I get to go. It completely reframed everything for me. And it like took the vanity element just completely out of it for me.
I work at a clothing store, shout out Summer Snow, in Laguna Beach 1 day a week. It's my friend's store. I love it. It gives me so much joy. And I was there yesterday, and there were maybe 10 customers came in, all trying stuff on, all coming out of the change room, and every single one of them criticized her body. Every single one of them for different reasons. I am so short-waisted. I have such a long upper body. My legs are too short. My boobs are too big. My boobs are too small. And it was so funny because I was so aware in that moment of, it's so weird. I thought that looked really good on her. You know, like what I saw was so different. Like, did you ever hear about that the Dove self-esteem project?
Oh,
have you ever heard of it? It is
Back
the most brilliant thing. I mean, Dove does shout out Dove, the most tremendous body image work like of any brand I've ever heard of times a billion. But they did this experiment in 2013 where they had these women describe themselves to FBI sketch artists. And the sketch artist would draw the woman based on her own description and then would have strangers describe her. And the disparity between the two perceptions was like miles apart. Like the way that we see ourselves is so inherently different than the way other people see us. And between that Dove experiment and then my experience at the store yesterday, I feel like we all have to go on this blind faith and just trust that people see us differently than we do. And so to your point, Leigh, like, let's not say fake it till you make it as much as just tell yourself the thing. We just have to trust that we look about 65% better than we think we do and act accordingly. Yeah. Bethany Frankel the hell out of it, just
totally.
Stop. I can't.
Take blind faith, add Bethany Frankel and go hit it.
Yeah. It all comes back to Bethany.
I feel like there's a quote about like there's a difference between ego and those people who just like kind of have that blind confidence and something feels like a little bit off about it and you're like, oh,
it's called narcissism and arrogance. Yeah.
Yeah, and it also like doesn't feel genuine. Like it's just like you're putting on, and actually because you're putting on, I smell your insecurity
I can tell,
that much more.
Being confident doesn't mean walking around pretending you have the best body. Focus on your stronger qualities and lead with that, and then everything else will follow.
And again, like when someone asks, like, "Oh, do you know this person?" in reference to a friend of mine, like the first place that my mind goes isn't, "Oh my God, their body's insane." Like all of my friends are like beautiful. No, and listen, like,
but
all
if
of
it
my
is,
friends,
if that's the first place your brain goes, then you're like, they're not bringing much more to the table. Like
exactly.
that's all they're bringing to the table.
That's what I was about to say. All of my friends are like beautiful Broadway dancers with like gorgeous bodies, like insane. Everyone's gorgeous. Okay. Like literally. And it doesn't even cross my mind. And they work at it because they have to, it's part of the sport. And so like, I understand, but it's not like, oh, my friend Sam, like favorite thing about him, the six pack. It's not, it is not, it's not important. Like I could list 10 things about each of those boys that I would talk about before their bodies.
How they make you laugh. It's how they make you feel. It's how they show up for you on a random Tuesday when you really need them,
Yes.
I want to wrap up with one last question, Leigh, because I am wondering if some of your joy also comes with being of service to so many people, because one of the biggest tricks of the trade when you are feeling shitty about yourself is to go be of service to someone else, and it gets you out of your own head, and the self-esteem builder that comes from that is immeasurable, and you get to inspire and encourage people every day. You are a role model for positivity and strength and confidence, and how much of that is contributing to your overall joy right now?
I feel like that's something I have to remind myself too, and I do know that obviously at the end of the day, but it's so crazy that I do get this amazing honor, it feels like, to be able to help people. And obviously not only do I see the comments and interact with everyone and learn more about everyone's stories, but I take it really personally. I try to respond to almost every DM I get as well, of people sharing their stories, or people even will send me voice notes and talk about like their experiences and everything that they've gone through, and not only how my content has resonated with them, but also very specific like struggles and asking for advice or what next steps look like for them. And while I'm not a licensed therapist or a professional, I always try to give, my perspective, my story, and hear them and just listen and say, what you're going through, you're not alone. There are so many other people, not even just me. There are so many other girls and women and people who are experiencing this. And you aren't the only person out there that's going through this. You're not weird. You're not, abnormal. You're not any different. You will get through this. Like, you're going to come out on the other side. And it's always best to choose yourself and choose your happiness, choose your health.
Amen, sister.
I think that's great advice. And in the spirit of giving advice, how about that segue?
Beautiful segue. Oh my God. And the award for best segue goes to...
Thank you. We're getting somewhere. We're cooking with gas. So every week on this show, we have a segment called Ask a GLU, where GLU is short for Girls Like Us. The girls like us write in with their, dilemmas, and we help them try to solve their problems. So we have a submission this week that I will read. Let's see if we can help this GLU out. Okay, so this girly says, "Hey GLUs, my roommate and I always share clothes, but she's recently gained some weight and we are no longer the same size. She hasn't acknowledged this, which is fine, but awkward because she still wants to share clothes. The problem is my stuff doesn't look good on her anymore, and I think she's in denial. I'm happy to embrace the new her, and I wish she would too, because I can't keep pretending my clothes look good on her. How can I broach the subject without hurting her feelings? What are other ways we can keep sharing our love of clothes when we literally can't share them?" Okay. Thoughts?
Leigh, you can go first.
I will say honestly that, and I love sharing a closet. Like, one of my favorite things to do when I would have roommates, or especially at college, like, I would always be swapping clothes. But also, I've been the friend where I started to gain weight and I wanted to swap clothes. I wanted to try things on, and I'd go into my friends' closets and I'd try these things on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this just like does not fit me. And I would feel terrible about myself. But I was in denial. But I also think that it wouldn't have been helpful to have heard that from my friend that was swapping the clothes with me. Like, I felt like, at least on my own journey, I had to figure out everything myself. But if someone else had said that, from my perspective, it would just make me feel worse about myself and call just attention to, like, oh, we aren't the same anymore. Like, we don't get that experience. And I like kind of insular about it. So I don't know if it's necessarily your job to bring that up to your friend.
She needs to arrive there on her own. Is what you're saying.
So you're saying just like kind of keep playing the game.
Let it go.
Just let it go.
Yeah. And I'm curious y'all's thoughts, because I do know that there's like a few other.
I have so many thoughts.
There's so many other thoughts to have on it. So I'm curious what y'all are thinking.
I know what Ellen's thoughts are going to be. I'm going to jump in first because you're going to hit it with a freaking punctuation. It's going to send a shock around the world. I'm going to say, I would have said maybe find a way to spin it. Like, you know what? I'm noticing like you're curvy lately. Maybe we should go looking for these kind of clothes would flatter you. Or I don't know, maybe I'm just an asshole. Like, I was trying to think of a way to sort of spin it and be like, I don't know
how you spin it. What is the spin that wouldn't send this?
You're right.
Spinning?
As I say it out
seriously.
loud, it's shitty advice. Like, as I'm hearing myself talk, I'm like, swallow those words, like suck those back in, like not good advice. Because I was thinking in the like elevated version of this, I'd be like, I'm noticing like you've been so gorgeous and curvy lately. Let's go shopping for like what, moo-moos? Like I just delete everything I'm saying. I'm wrong. So far, I like Leigh's advice the best.
Moo-moos.
There is an approach to take if you want to go shopping together. Like, there are a lot of like different strategies and things you can do in order to go shopping. Like, say another part of this friendship too is, hey, we swap clothes and we'll go out to buy something. We both like something, but only one of us will buy it. Like, you can do something with two where you're able to go into the fitting room and maybe instead of grabbing that one size that you guys always are, I have something called the 3 size rule, and you grab the size you think you be, and then you grab the 2 sizes flanking it. And so it's not necessarily that you have to fit into that one size, but you get to say, okay, well, which one fits me best and like which one looks best on me.
And then it just comes down to the fit.
Genius.
Again, it's like not the size, then the size noise goes away. I think it's genius. Okay, so this is my advice for this GLU, and I'm just gonna like come in from the top rope. We are grown women. No sharing clothes anymore. No,
I knew you were going to say that, and I don't
more.
agree, but I know you have a hard, fast rule. I like sharing clothes. I think it's
Wait,
fun.
where does this come from?
She's
it's coming from a place of I'm a grown person. I'm not sharing clothes unless it's an emergency or like okay, I've always thought the sharing clothes thing is fucking weird. I always thought it was weird. It is so not for me.
Why is it weird?
And that doesn't. Because they're my clothes. Like, why are you wearing my clothes? Like,
I do have to ask, only because it's funny because, well, I'll get to that
Are
point.
You in therapy?
Are you in
Yeah, good question. I should be. Jesus.
Are you an only
what's
child?
your question? No, I have an older brother, but I don't know. I think my relationship to clothes is very strange, though. My mom is a textiles person. My parents are huge clothes horses. Like my dad, it's like the wardrobes of both of my parents are insane. Like, and they always have been. And also, like, I've always been so hard to fit. And so my clothes are so my clothes. I'm 5'2". My bra size is 30G. It's not an easy situation here.
Mm-hmm.
So like I have to get all of my pants hemmed. My clothes are so specific to me that I just think it's like, these are my clothes that I buy for me because I like them and this is my style and my wardrobe. And I just don't see that, like, you don't have enough clothes. Like, okay, go get it yourself. And so this is the thing, like, the only time that I'll share clothes, and I've done this, is like if you're on a trip and I've been to the Cape with Crystal and she's like, fuck, I forgot to pack a dress for dinner. And I'm like, I have an extra. Then, of course, throw on a dress to go to dinner, like, while we're on vacation. That's totally fine. But the swapping of clothes to just, like, go out for a date night, like, God. No, get your own.
No, I don't
Weirdos.
agree. This would make your skin crawl. When I go to New York, and sometimes I will only bring shoes and cosmetics because I just wear everything from my friends, and then I want to pack anything.
I can't.
It's so fun. And then you have a whole new wardrobe for a couple
myself.
days.
You got to play dress up. Yeah.
I'm too particular about clothes. I think, like, I'm just too picky about, like, the things that I
Are
like.
you black turtleneck? Black turtleneck every day.
Cashmere.
It's cashmere.
Cashmere, darling.
I will say you're onto something, Ellen, though, because that's another thing for also, a lot of people come to me advice of like, well, how do I shop if like I've gained more weight? Like, I feel like it's so difficult trying on like new clothes or whatever. And one thing I always say too is maybe you find something that like fits in your hips but not in your waist. Go get it tailored, and then it becomes
totally
an item specifically for you. And so if you are going through that, like, again, there are just like little different like hacks, quote unquote, you could do to make it more tailored. But yeah, I also see what you're saying of like, you're like, my closet is for me and the only.
Well, and it's like, we're not like we're not like the pretty committee going to Lake Placid. Like, I'm too old to be like swapping clothes. Like,
so you wouldn't be wearing anything from the Lost and Found.
No. I'd rather go home than
I love it.
from the Lost and Found. Like, honest to God. No, of course. So that's a solution right there. Just don't share your clothes anymore. Okay. So every week we do our current State of the Union, where I give my in and out list. Lisi gives her in and out list. This week, Leigh will give her in and out. I will go first. So my in for this week is lip stain. I am new to the lip stain train, and I am not getting off anytime soon. As a girly who's addicted to Aquaphor, this has been a game changer for me. I'm loving the lip stain. Love it. And my out is lip service, aka people who just be talking out of their asses, saying things that are completely disingenuous. I can't be around it anymore. I went to an audition this morning. Maybe that's why I'm like so crazy today. I went to an audition this morning, and theater people have a tendency to just throw out like hollow and meaningless compliments in an effort to
get one back,
so genuinely nice and get one back, and also to just take up space in the room. Like, that's actually the intention. You're just talking so that your voice is being heard. Genuine conversation only, authenticity, no talking out of our asses. So in lip stain, out lip service.
Love it.
Oh my God, I'm obsessed.
Lisi, what's your State of the Union this week?
I always start with my out first. I don't know why, but
You're so twisted.
My out is mani-pedis, because just temporarily, very temporarily, but I feel like I just blew it all out over the holiday season. Like, it was just so much indulgence on every level that even taking time out for a mani-pedi is annoying right now. And I just want to work, and I don't want to spend the money. So out mani-pedis, in mani-pedi, Petty, because it's of little importance to me. So it's a mani-pedi, little importance. And also, like, I'm now doing them at my desk. If you can see, I've got like a bunch of nail polishes here. When I'm writing and I kind of get stuck and I want to like fidget, I'll paint a nail. I'll clip a cuticle.
Oh.
It's all happening.
Genius.
So,
I love that.
Yeah. What are you going to say?
Leigh,
what
Leigh,
follows?
what's your
What could
State of the
possibly
Union?
follow that?
Guys, I'm like, oh my God, I do not have all these witty wordplays that y'all do. And
we can help you.
It's been a process for me. It's not my strength.
Oh my
It is
God,
now.
It's been a whole process.
I truly went with like the opposite of this is my in and the opposite is my
That's fine.
So, you know.
Great. Give it to us. Lisi will find a way to wordplay it. Trust me. This is what she does. This is like this is her favorite game.
This is my
amazing.
bodybuilding.
It's true.
Okay, so I am a big Dunkies girl. There's nothing that I don't love more than a Dunkies iced latte. Just to clarify, Dunkin' Donuts. I love Dunkin' Donuts. But the biggest beef I have is that when you get an iced latte, the whole dang drink is ice. And I don't want ice. I want my drink. So what is out is regular ice and drinks because I don't want ice. I want my drink. And what's in is light ice or no ice.
I'm going to go with politically, I'm going to say ice should be not here at all.
You know what?
I'm going to say ice, all caps, highlight and bold, underline that shit. No ice.
You know what?
Ice is out. Leigh, truly, you have been such a fascinating, delightful, charming, lovely guest. I'm
Such
so
a
grateful.
joy.
It's been a very powerful conversation for me and for hopefully all of us. But it's been really, we're very grateful to have had you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for being here today and for opening up about your story and your journey. Such an overused word, but it really, sounds like it's been a journey, and it was really helpful to hear you talk about that today.
Yeah.
So thank you
where
for
can
taking
people
the time.
find you? Where can people find you?
Yes,
Find
plug
you.
everything.
Plug it up,
I will,
Buttercup.
but before I get into that, I have to say I'll be remiss if I do not share. I feel like in the beginning I was just like, oh my gosh, this is all happening and like jumping right in. But wow, thank you two for being such an important part of my childhood. Lisi, for creating this world that I like literally was obsessed with. Like, I'm such a huge fan of the Click series, and the fact that I get to be here with two people that like shaped my childhood so much.
Oh
like,
my
wow,
God.
thank you guys. Like,
Thank
truly.
you.
But you can find me at Leigh Ann Healey. So my full name. You can find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Facebook too. I'm everywhere.
Thank you so much. Truly, we're so grateful. That was amazing.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode of EhMaGawd. I'm Ellen Marlowe.
And I'm Lisi Harrison. If you want any more shitty advice from me, please send all of your questions to thestateofthereunion@gmail.com.
Yes, we will try to help you solve your problems. A good way to solve some of your problems is to follow us on social media. That will heal everything that's going on. We are on Instagram. We are on YouTube. We are on TikTok. EhMaGawd Podcast. Check us out. Leave a 5-star review. Thank you so much for listening to our show. I also want to thank our producers, Isabella Betcher and Krista McLaughlin, as well as our graphics goddess, Bella Tamayo. We could not do the show without you. And Lisi, I love you.
I love you, Ellen.
All
love
right.
you guys.
See you next
Thank
Tuesday.
You. Bye. See you next Tuesday.